Welcome to the Entrepreneur in the Making podcast. In this podcast, I'm going to talk about life experiences and things that have happened in my life to make me the strong, hardworking woman that I am today. And hopefully give you some tips on how to change your mindset in order to become a successful business person, starting from scratch. And so I kind of want to take it all the way back to my childhood when I was younger. And you know, because I find like a lot of the situations that you get put into as a child like help you grow and become the strong entrepreneur person, that you can be today. So with my work, I do a lot of sewing, like I sew in weaves, and I think about like all the way back to my childhood when like I was in school, the very first time that I actually was sewing for the first time. And I remember like as a child, I was so skinny that, I'd get made fun of quite a bit. And, my clothes would always fall down and things like that. And so my mum started pinning my clothes. I'd get like the smallest size possible, but even those were too big. So she used to like gather my pants or my skirt or my skirts to like one side, and she'd like put a pin into it, and it was good for a little bit, and then the pin would come undone and it would poke me in the side of my stomach, and I used to hate it. I did that for a couple of years, and I was like, you know what, like I need to do something else here. I need to think of what else I can do to bloody fix my clothes so that I'm not getting poked in the side with the pin. I was like, stuff it, I'm just gonna learn how to sew. I'm gonna practice sewing and try and sew my clothes up so that I can have it like that and then not have to deal with the pin. So my mum did a lot of sewing and she had a sewing machine, and so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna pull it out and try and hand sew a little bit and try and use the sewing machine and stitch it up. And my mum didn't know, poor mum. I went through so many needles, I broke so many of them, and she didn't even know. And I was like, I'm just gonna try and sew this up. So I did, and it worked, like after many attempts. And then obviously I had to do a little bit of hand sewing as well, and that's where I built up my skill in sewing. And also my mum did a lot of cross stitching. And I used to love the stuff that she did. She used to do like these big family trees. And so, she taught me how to do cross stitching as well. And I feel like a lot of the, the knots and things like that I'd learned from doing cross stitching. But yeah, like things like that. And, going all the way back to my roots of like my mum and how she was as, with me growing up, she was always doing things to be in like a business. She'd always think about different ways on how to work. So she'd do like folk art, she'd do craft stuff, and then she'd look into like multi-level marketing businesses and things like that. Like she was always working, and she was, I got that entrepreneur sort of mindset and encouragement from her, an example from her as well. And then growing up, I've always wanted to sort of be crafty and figure out what I could sort of do on my own. And I feel like you're quite similar. You like crafty things as well, don't you?
Yeah, I love painting, and I like drawing, especially because it's just a lot of fun for me.
Yeah.
But I feel like I got that from you because like you're the best artist.
Well, we do things together. I think like when you were little, I always wanted to do things with someone. And I was like, when I knew that I was having a girl, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited I can do all these little arts and crafts with her. And you became so good at it. Like, you'll do stuff. Like, we do those little perler bead things where you, like, put them together and you melt them. We did so many of those. But we're always thinking. Like, I feel like I'm always thinking and you're always thinking. And when you were little, so when I stopped hairdressing, when I was pregnant with you, I was like, I want to do something at home. Like, I don't just want to sit around and do nothing. Like, I've always had the mindset of, like, what can I do? If there's an idea that I get in my mind, you have to, like, I feel like you need to just do it. Like, you need to, like, just go, okay, this is an idea that I have. Instead of going, oh, that would be a good idea, and then putting it to the side for later, you've got to, like, just do it, right?
Mm.
You know, I want you to tell people about like your little entrepreneur thing that you had, because I think that's an awesome story to tell people. So you had like we've always loved birds. Like we're bird lovers, and we ended up getting like a pair of lovebirds, and we didn't know that they were capable of
Having
babies, right? Because
Yeah.
you can get different types of lovebirds that, you know, 2 males, 2 females, or a different species of lovebird that mate and then have like infertile eggs. So they'll still lay the eggs, but they just won't have anything inside them. And yeah, so we ended up getting this pair, and then I don't know, like 6 months or a year later, they started laying eggs, right? And I don't know what we did with the first set of eggs. I think maybe she had like 1 or 2.
Yeah.
And then it like got more and more and more, and she ended up having like sometimes like 7 or 10 a brood. And yeah, and then you were like, let's keep them. And I was like, why don't we just sell them?
Yeah.
You like bring them up and then sell them. And then what we didn't realize is how tame you could get them. Right?
Like, you encouraged me to like set up that whole business as well, and like I
was like, you really make a business out of this.
You really pushed me to make the money out of it, and I'm really thankful for that.
Yeah. We ended up waiting for them to hatch. It just doesn't, like, how long does it take? Like 3 months?
Yeah, something like that.
And
to like fully grow at least.
Or to hatch, yeah. To get to hatching stage. You ended up keeping them, and she'd have like 2 or 3 eggs per, you know, laying, and then you would tame them up, and then we didn't realize how tame you could actually get them, right, as a baby. Like, these little things would lay on their backs. It was so funny. They'd lay on their backs like a dog with their little feet up in the air, and you could tame them to like chase you around the house, and they were just awesome. So we did that, and we sold them, and we didn't know how much we could sell them for. So we sort of did a little bit of research, and saw that we could sell these things for like $250 to $300. And
the first one that we sold was $300.
Oh my gosh, because it was so tame.
It was so tame.
And then the next set of broods that she had was like, it was growing more and more. So she'd have 4, and then she'd had 5, 6, 7, 8.
And there was one time when we had 9 birds all in our house.
That was hectic. So you've got to have a lot of patience when it comes to this sort of thing. And that's with any work, really. Yeah. You've got to have patience. And that really was a patience test for you, wasn't it? Yeah. Because you had to put a lot of work, and you had to, you just had to wait for them to grow up, and you had to deal with like cleaning them all up and cleaning the poo and waiting for them to be old enough to sell. But word started getting around, and you started selling lots. You started selling a lot of them. It was really funny. It was awesome. And then it got a bit too much with like their schoolwork and things like that. But we were pretty dedicated to that. You did, how many broods did we have? Like, I think you went through like 7. Like 7 different layings, right?
Yeah. But
it was good money.
We did eventually have to stop because there was risk of the mother getting egg bound and like.
And I think it lowers their life expectancy as well, right? So we didn't want to keep doing it and then like destroying her body. Yeah. We really cared about her. Yeah, which is fair enough. All of that sort of thing, I think, you know, that will sort of set you up as well, because you could see and experience that entrepreneur sort of mindset of like doing something and then making money from it as well. So I think, you know, that sort of put you in a good mindset as well, like having a parental example of like working hard and pushing you and things like that. But I feel like having the mindset as well, like of just going for it. You know, if you have an idea, I reckon just put it out there, go for it and try. Because if you don't try, you don't know how it will go. And that's something I definitely want for you when you're older. Like, I want you to have that entrepreneurial mindset, and I know that you will. I can already see that in you. You're always thinking about little ideas and things to do.
I really want to do like tattoos or cosmetic tattooing, because it will always be different. I can always do my art, and I can also do
that's it. Like, you're coming back. That's it. You're coming back to, you know, things that you're good at, and you're good at arts and crafts. And I feel like tattooing, cosmetic tattooing would be a great thing for you to get into.
Yeah, it's very, very popular.
Yeah, there's a lot of different things out there. And I think that coming back to, you know, me sewing when I was younger, like I think about what I'm good at now. And I was like, with the hair extensions and getting them put in when I was younger, I was like, I can do that. And I actually designed that little beaded weft method.
And it was
myself.
Really flat.
Yeah, it was really flat. It was really cool. And yeah, and then that comes back to, you know, me learning sewing at such a young age and then being really good at it. And then I got into the wholesale side of it, and then that just exploded and went crazy. So all the things that you go through as a child sort of build you up into this strong entrepreneur person that you can become today. And, you know, all the past experiences and everything that you go through, you know, I feel like you don't have to necessarily be, like, I'm someone who went up to year 10, right? So I finished year 10 and then I was like, I do not like school. Like, I need to put my time and energy into work. And I'm so grateful that my mum put me into hairdressing. So I was 15 and I was like, my mum's like, you know, I want you to work. I want you to go into hairdressing. And I was like, okay, well, anything's better than school, surely. I was just hating school. I was not getting along with people at school.
And I'm exactly the same.
Yeah, you are. We are so similar.
Yeah.
Like, I had massive anxiety in school. Like, back then, the anxiety thing was never a thing. Like, we never had these purple cards that we could just put up and be like, hey, I've got anxiety, let me go to student services or something like that. Like, if I was ever anxious, I just went into the school toilets and had a little cry. And then I'd come back, wipe my tears, come back and be like, I'm fine. But, you know, I hated school. I did have anxiety. I just struggled to talk to people. Like, I was like a little hermit, and I'd like go into my shell. And making conversation with people was really hard. And I found that it was because, you know, I sort of grew up in a family, you know, my mum and dad didn't necessarily socialize overly that much. They sort of hermit themselves as well. So I was interacting with my brothers and sisters, but I didn't interact much outside of that. Like maybe through church and things like that on a Sunday. But even then, like, I was always so quiet. And I feel like it's also because my cousins would always say, like, when we'd go over to the house, they'd be like, oh my gosh, he's Elle, the talkative one, you know. And then they said it quite a few times. I was like, oh my gosh, like, do I talk too much? Maybe I just need to sort of tone it down a little bit. So I was like, you know what, I'm just going to be quiet.
Yeah.
And then that's how I became like a people watcher. And I was like, you know what, instead of talking, I'm just going to watch. And then I can watch people work. I used to love watching people work. Anything. You'd be watching them work on a car, watching them build something. Like, I didn't care what it was, like woodwork stuff. I loved watching woodwork stuff. Like, so I ended up becoming a people watcher, and then that sort of helped me with my patience and watching on, you know, how to do things and perfect things. But yeah, my mum was just like, I'm going to put you into work. And that was probably the best thing I ever did. It taught me to be, you know, I had to go to work. You had to do it. If you wanted to earn money, you had to go. And if you wanted to buy things for yourself, you needed to earn money. So that was good. And then as I sort of grew, you know, as I sort of grew through work and grew up, and I also realized that when you do work, when you have the mindset of, I'm doing this because I enjoy it, not so much doing it because you want to earn money, but doing it because you enjoy it, doing it because this is a hobby, this is what you really like, this is what you really enjoy, the money just comes because I find, like, when you find something that you can do that you really enjoy, it ends up being so much easier to make money.
Yeah.
I feel like you're really similar to me in a way.
Yeah, I definitely struggle in school a lot, and I want to have that entrepreneurial mindset from a very young age and start my business up.
I feel like you're a little entrepreneur in the making.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I'm just exactly like you.
Yeah.
And I love that because you're an amazing person. Like, I want to follow your footsteps, and I really do look up to you. You're a massive role model.
Thank you. That's really sweet.
It's okay, but like, it's just true, so.
Okay.
I'm bragging. I'm bragging about how good of a mum you are.
Thank you. That's really sweet. I do try.
I suppose, like...
You have a really creative mind. I remember, like, you back in primary school. This was so bad.
I used to tell people a lot of things that were untrue because of how creative my mind was. And I used to say, like, that I had a twin sister from Iceland. I used to say... I said this in year 1. I said that my mum wasn't my real mum, and my mum was a zombie, and my auntie's looking after me. That's why she looks so young. I just was a really creative kid.
Yeah, you were always creative. You had a very big imagination.
Yeah.
And it's funny because, like, I think about it and I think about, like, how you are now and, like, what, like, if that is, like, one of your strengths, you know, like, being creative with your mind.
Yeah.
I wonder what you could do, you know, to sort of work with that.
Yeah.
What kind of things do people do?
They write
when they have a creative
books,
mind?
or you can explain it in art. Like, you can paint.
That's true.
It.
You can paint if you've got that is so true.
Yeah.
Painting, you know, creative minds.
Because you're thinking about it, and even if it's words, your mind will still paint a picture and put it onto somewhere.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it looks like, it's still art, and it's always going to be good.
Your paintings are creative.
Yeah,
I've seen your recent
creative.
painting. That is awesome. Also, like, writing books. Like, I feel like you would be an awesome book writer.
Yeah,
because you have such a big imagination, right?
Yes.
Every single one of us has something that we're good at, but you have to put yourself out there. You have to put yourself out there and just try and go for it.
You just have to have that confidence and go for your goals.
Yeah, that's it.
I did write a book, like, for myself when I was younger, and it was like a collapsed version of Goldilocks and the Three Bears. I don't know what has happened to it. I think it got chucked out, like, when I was little.
Yeah.
But it was basically like Goldilocks never got barged by the bears. Like, the bears didn't walk in to the house.
Okay. Yeah.
And it was like she ate the porridge and she fell asleep, and she woke up and she was in a completely different place. And every time that she did that, and she would teleport to different dimensions.
Interesting. So it's almost like she'd transport herself during her dreams.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also, like, I want to bring out my my diary, my journal, and I've got a journal that I had. I started writing in it when I was 13 or 14, and it would be awesome for me to, like, read a couple of diary entries and then see how similar you and I are. We get so many people saying that we look so alike. I personally can't see it.
Me either.
But, like, I don't have, you know, strawberry blonde hair. I don't have green eyes.
And I don't have Mum's gorgeous eyeliner tricks. Like, come on, have you seen that wing?
But I don't know, maybe we have the same smile. Maybe we have the same
braces.
eyes. I don't know.
I have green eyes.
I don't know what people see. It's very bizarre.
And I have curly hair and you have straight hair, so I don't really
got curly.
see
My
it.
hair naturally is curly though. I used to, like, scrunch it in high school.
Even when, like, you were in hard times and your business wasn't really going up, what did you do?
Like, when I first started?
Yeah.
I've always been a really persistent person. When it comes to work, I've always been really persistent and just pushed through it. I don't know, like, when it's always done well. In the beginning, it sort of just built itself up. But like I said, having that, changing your mindset to this is a hobby, like, it's something I enjoy, your mind works in a different way. So I find that when you see it as a hobby and not so much as a chore that you need to do to make money, it naturally just comes in. I feel like people are sort of drawn to, you know, people that are quite passionate about what they do, because I feel like when you do something that you enjoy, you become really passionate about it.
Yeah.
And people can see that, and they sort of get drawn to that energy. So I feel like because I enjoyed it, I put a lot of time into it. You know, I was always thinking about what I can do, how I can advertise it, you know, how I can sort of bring more clientele in. When you have the mindset of, oh my gosh, I love this, I'm just going to do it because I love it. Changing that mindset just makes the money come naturally. It honestly does. People are just drawn to that. So I think definitely keeping a positive mind, a happy, being happy in your work, being happy with what you do definitely helps with succeeding.
Yeah.
When you are, if you want to be an entrepreneur, you need a lot of own time. You need a lot of time to think. You need a lot of time to put those, ideas into action. And that takes time. It's not something that can just happen overnight, right? You sort of need to have that time to put into it as well. So you've got to dedicate time. Time is like the number one thing. I really hope that you sort of find something that you enjoy doing. You've got so many good traits about you. You have so many good things that you could like put into action. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how you go when you're older. But yeah, thank you for everyone who has listened to this podcast. On the next episode, I'd really like to like whip out my diary and then see like the differences. Like I want to just read out my journal entries.
I want to see how similar we are.
Yeah, we need to do that. It'll be so cool.
Yeah. So be an entrepreneur. Go for your dreams. Go for your passions. Keep the positive mindset. Don't see work as a chore. You need to see work as a passion and something that you really want to do for the rest of your life.
Yeah, love that.
Yeah.
What a good way to end it. Thank you for that.
No problem.
Thanks for listening, guys, and tune in for the next episodes.